A former president and former Secretary of State could be in some legal trouble. The Clintons are now facing contempt charges after the former president failed to appear for a scheduled deposition with the House Oversight Committee. That hearing is part of the Jeffrey Epstein investigation.
Federal court just handed down order that has Donald Trump absolutely terrified and scrambling to find way out. Judge issued direct subpoena requiring Trump to testify under oath about his conduct. And Trump's lawyers have been fighting this like their lives depend on it because they know what happens when Trump has to answer questions under oath. They tried executive privilege. They tried attorney-client privilege. They tried arguing subpoena is overly broad, every possible legal argument to block this testimony. And court rejected all of it, said Trump has to appear, has to sit down for deposition, has to answer questions. And if he doesn't show up, if he tries to dodge this thinking his status protects him, judge made crystal clear what comes next. Contempt charges, immediate sanctions, and those sanctions could include putting Trump in jail right now, not future prison sentence after conviction, jail within days for refusing to comply with court order. That's where we are with sitting president of United States. But real quick, before we get into this, let's be honest, you can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built National Brief Network to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, please subscribe because you might think you are but aren't. Your subscription actually matters here. All right, let's get into why this is absolutely catastrophic for Trump because there's no good option here. This isn't just about inconvenience of showing up for deposition. This is about what happens when Trump has to answer questions under oath where lying becomes federal crime. When he can't just post whatever he wants on Truth Social without consequences. Under oath, if Trump lies about material facts, that's perjury. Additional criminal charges on top of everything else he's facing. And prosecutors know Trump has a pattern of saying things that contradict evidence, making claims his own advisors say are false, insisting on narratives documents disprove. He gets away with that in public statements because there's no legal penalty for lying to voters, but under oath is completely different. Under oath, lies become crimes that can send you to prison. Share this video with everyone you know because Trump is trapped in an impossible choice and his lawyers understand this perfectly. If he testifies truthfully, he incriminates himself, admits things that help prosecutors build case against him, confirms facts that establish crimes he's charged with. If he lies to protect himself, he risks perjury, gives prosecutors additional crimes to charge, creates contradictions between his testimony and other evidence that juries use against him. And if he takes Fifth Amendment and refuses to answer, he faces massive political damage plus legal consequences in civil cases. Every option is disaster. That's why Trump's legal team has been fighting so desperately to prevent this testimony from happening at all. Now here's the pattern that got us to this moment, and it matters because it shows courts are done with Trump's defiance. Trump has already been found in contempt 10 times in New York case, 10 separate violations. Judge Juan Merchan told Trump stop attacking witnesses, stop going after jurors, stop targeting judges' family, clear orders. Trump knew exactly what he wasn't allowed to do, and he violated those orders anyway. Posted on Truth Social about people he was ordered not to mention, made public statements about witnesses he was prohibited from discussing, kept doing it even after fines started. Think about what that means. Merchan imposed maximum fines allowed by law, $1,000 per violation, $10,000 total. And when fines didn't stop Trump's behavior, when he kept violating gag orders despite paying penalties, Merchan did something unprecedented. Explicitly threatened Trump with jail, said on the record that fines are not sufficient to deter violations, said court will consider jail sanction going forward, warned future violations could result in incarceration up to 30 days. That was judge telling sitting president, you keep defying my orders and you're going to jail. Make sure you're subscribed to National Brief Network because Merchan said something else that shows how serious this is. Said last thing I want to do is put president in jail. Acknowledged how unprecedented that would be, how it creates constitutional questions, but then added I will if necessary and appropriate. That's judge making crystal clear Trump's status doesn't put him above law, doesn't shield him from consequences every other defendant faces for violating court orders. Merchan was willing to jail sitting president if Trump's defiance continued, and Trump keeps making it worse, keeps attacking judges on Truth Social, keeps claiming courts are rigged, keeps saying he's victim of persecution. Every time he does that, he reinforces judges' belief that warnings won't work, that he won't voluntarily comply with orders he disagrees with, that stronger enforcement is needed. Trump is building case for his own contempt through his defiant behavior. Share this with everyone because now federal court is following exact same path Merchan took. Court dealing with Trump's refusal to testify already rejected his privilege claims, already told him he has to appear, already warned about consequences, and if Trump doesn't show up for scheduled deposition, judge is prepared to move immediately to contempt proceedings. Not more delays, not more arguments, immediate contempt hearing. Think about what happens at that hearing if Trump refuses. Court examines whether Trump got proper notice, whether he understood what was required, whether his refusal was willful. All easily proven. Trump's lawyers fought subpoena in court so he knows about it. Court issued clear order so he understands requirements. If he doesn't show up, that's willful refusal. Court finds contempt, then decides sanctions. Could be fines, but judges learned fines don't work with Trump. Could be what court already warned about. Immediate incarceration until Trump agrees to comply. Now let me talk about what that actually means, because having sitting president held for contempt would be unprecedented crisis. Court could order Trump into federal detention, Secret Service protection while in custody, but physically confined until he agrees to testify. And there's precedent for this. Courts have held witnesses in custody for refusing to testify before grand juries, kept them locked up weeks or months until they complied. Not punishment. Coercive measure to enforce court order. No specific time limit as long as it serves coercive purpose. Think about implications. How do you govern from detention? How do you conduct presidential duties while held for contempt? How do Republicans defend supporting president who's locked up for refusing court order? There's no good political spin. Can't claim persecution when Trump simply won't follow lawful order. Can't blame Democrats when it's federal judge enforcing basic obligation. Can't rally base when issue is Trump refusing to testify under oath. Trump's political advisors have to be panicking, already dealing with declining approval, already managing Republican rebellion over Greenland and Venezuela, already preparing for brutal midterms. Now might have to explain why president is jailed for contempt. That's nightmare that makes every problem worse. Make sure you're subscribed because taking Fifth Amendment is option but comes with costs Trump understands. Trump said during 2016 campaign that taking Fifth means you're guilty. Said innocent people don't need Fifth Amendment protection. Those quotes exist on video. Will be played constantly if Trump takes Fifth now. Democrats will run ads showing Trump's own words. Will hammer hypocrisy of claiming innocence while refusing to answer. Will say if he did nothing wrong, he should testify and prove it. Plus, taking Fifth in civil cases has legal consequences. Courts can draw adverse inference. Can assume if Trump answered, his answers would hurt him. So Fifth protects from criminal liability but damages civil defense. He's trapped between criminal exposure if he testifies and civil liability if he doesn't. And Trump's pattern makes credibility problem worse. He says one thing publicly, then evidence shows something different. Claims he didn't know about things his own advisors told him about. Insists things happened when documents prove they didn't. That pattern means if he testifies and his answers contradict evidence, prosecutors use it to show he's lying, show consciousness of guilt, show he knows he did wrong things and is trying to hide it. Here's what makes this even more dangerous for Trump. Federal prosecutors likely coordinating with state prosecutors. Information Trump provides in this deposition could be used in multiple cases, could create inconsistencies across different proceedings, could give prosecutors ammunition they didn't have before. One deposition could damage his position in every case he's facing. Think about what that means. Trump faces federal charges over January 6th and classified documents. Faces state charges in Georgia over election interference. Faces civil cases where he owes hundreds of millions. And this deposition could provide evidence useful in all of them. Could establish facts, could create admissions, could lock Trump into positions he can't back away from later. That's why stakes are so high. That's why his lawyers fought so hard to prevent this. Now would Trump actually go to jail if he refuses to testify? That's a question everyone wants answered. An honest answer is courts have authority to do it, have warned they'll do it, have shown through Merchan's threats that they're willing to jail Trump for contempt. Whether they actually follow through depends on Trump's choice. If he shows up and testifies, no contempt. If he shows up and takes Fifth, no contempt but political damage. If he refuses to appear at all, contempt becomes a real possibility. And Trump's calculation is probably whether judges actually have courage to jail sitting president, whether they'll follow through on threats or back down at last minute. Trump has spent career betting that authorities won't actually enforce consequences against him, that he can push boundaries and get away with it, that threats are empty. And sometimes that's worked for him. But courts are different from business deals. Judges don't negotiate, orders aren't suggestions. And pattern with Merchant shows judges are willing to escalate. Started with warnings, moved to fines, threatened jail when fines didn't work. That's progression toward actual enforcement. Federal court dealing with testimony issue is following same progression. Rejected privilege claims, issued order to appear, warned about contempt. Next step, if Trump refuses, is actually imposing sanctions, actually holding him in custody. Share this video because Republican senators watching this, some already voted against Trump's war powers, some already expressing concerns. If Trump gets jailed for contempt, more might distance themselves, might decide supporting him is liability, might calculate their political survival requires breaking from Trump. Mike Johnson already can't control House, already dealing with discharge petitions and Republican rebellion. Trump in jail for contempt makes Johnson's situation impossible. And Trump keeps making everything worse through his behavior, keeps attacking judges, keeps claiming persecution, keeps refusing to follow normal legal processes. Every instance of defiance makes judges less sympathetic, makes them more willing to use strong enforcement, makes contempt more likely if he refuses to comply with this testimony order. Think about what this means for Trump's presidency going forward. He's already dealing with crises on multiple fronts: Venezuela disaster, Greenland obsession, economic failures, Epstein cover-up, Republican rebellion. Now add potential contempt and jail to that list. Add testimony that could incriminate him or perjury if he lies. Add political damage from taking fifth. Every option creates new crisis. Every choice makes situation worse. Bottom line is this: federal court ordered Trump to testify under oath, rejected all his privilege claims, warned that refusing to appear could result in immediate jail for contempt. Trump faces impossible choice: testify and risk incriminating himself or committing perjury, take fifth and face political backlash, refuse to appear and risk immediate incarceration. His lawyers fought desperately to prevent this but lost every argument. Trump already been found in contempt 10 times by Judge Merchan, already been threatened with jail, already shown pattern of defying court orders. Federal judges know this pattern. No warnings and fines don't work with Trump. No stronger enforcement might be necessary. And they've made clear through their orders that jail is real possibility if Trump refuses to comply. Taking fifth is option, but comes with massive costs. Trump's own words from 2016 saying fifth means guilt. Political ads showing that hypocrisy. Adverse inferences in civil cases. Damage to defenses across multiple proceedings. Not good option, but better than perjury or self-incrimination if he testifies. Trump's political situation makes this worse. Republican rebellion growing. Midterms approaching. Approval declining. Now potential contempt and jail. Republican senators might break from him completely if he's held in custody. Mike Johnson loses what little control he has over House. Trump's base might start questioning whether he's really winning if he's sitting in jail for refusing court order. Courts have authority to jail for contempt. Have warned they'll use it. Have shown through Merchant's threats they're willing. Whether they follow through depends on Trump's choice. But Trump betting judges won't actually do it is risky strategy. Courts aren't business partners. Orders aren't negotiable. Defiance has consequences that actually get enforced. This is Trump scared because for first time he can't delay his way out, can't appeal indefinitely, can't use privilege claims, can't hide behind presidential immunity, has to make choice, testify and face consequences, take fifth and face different consequences, refuse and face immediate jail. No good options, no escape, just impossible choice with catastrophic results either way. This story continues. Stay tuned.